Hello and welcome back to another in-depth weather video and a winter storm video. For the first time in 6 months or so, we have a winter storm. This is Winter Storm Alejandra, the first named winter storm of the 2022-2023 winter storm season. Alejandra is potentially a blizzard that will be impacting the northern plains throughout the next couple of days. So let's get right on into it. Here's the Weather Channel page. Here is the headline, Winter Storm Prompts Blizzard Warnings in the Northern Plains. It's a video. I'm not going to play it. If you want to go and watch it, the link will be in the description. Now, moving on to our NWS hazards, you can see here in this bright red, that is blizzard warnings. And that encompasses portions of South Dakota, North Dakota, and Minnesota. We have winter storm warnings for Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Minnesota, as well as we have our winter weather advisories in Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, and ice storm warnings we have in South Dakota. So here is this storm on our NAM 3-kilometer model. Now, I'm not really seeing as much of the ice storm part here, more than just a few hours, but we really are seeing that snowfall really start to pick up now in the next few hours here. As you can see here, this is about 2 a.m. Central Time Thursday morning, and you can see that some of that snowfall is already starting to ramp up in portions of South Dakota. And then as we move into, this is now 4 a.m., and you can see that starts to push into North Dakota. Now, as this storm system starts to progress and develop, that area of that moderate to heavy snowfall is going to stay relatively in the same spot in portions of central and eastern North Dakota, including areas like Fargo and Minot and areas like that. So this storm is going to be very much a very northern plains storm. And this is a very typical fall winter storm setup as well. We have kind of our mushroom setup here, where you have kind of two separate sides. You have your rainy side, you have your snowy side, you have potentially some severe weather on the southern side of the storm. It's a very typical spring-fall setup for a winter storm. You have that cold Arctic air on the back end that's brought in by the low pressure system. You have that warm air out in front that brings the rain further north, and that kind of leads to that ice storm effect in some spots, but mostly just this separation between snow and rain. Now, as we move into, let's see here, this is about 2 p.m. on Thursday. You can see that the heaviest part of the snowfall is now near International Falls and areas of very northern Minnesota before the storm starts to make its way out Friday morning in Minnesota. And the storm itself actually combines with Hurricane Nicole as it starts to move into the northeast, which could bring in some lake effect snow on the back end here. So let's take a look here at our potential snowfall totals. This is assuming a 10-to-1 snow to liquid ratio, and this is from the NAM itself. You can see that our highest amounts here are in central North Dakota with up to 18, 19 inches of snowfall in some spots there. But in general, in this pink, that is at least 6 inches of snowfall across much of North Dakota, northwestern Minnesota, northern South Dakota, eastern Montana as well. Now, here is our total snowfall, assuming a Kuchera ratio, which is a lot more bullish on the storm, up to 36 inches. That's just not happening. So we're going to disregard this for the day. And finally, let's actually take a look here, if we can go further in here to the northern plains here and see total freezing rain. And we can see here some areas up to an inches 3/4. That's not going to happen. That's why we are corroborating this with our HREF model here. Let's take a look here at our snowfall, 10-to-1 snow to liquid ratio, and this is a mean here. You can see in this red color that is at least a foot of snowfall. So you can see areas of central North Dakota, northwestern Minnesota in that 12-inch range. And in this purple is at least 6 inches, which is very close to what the NAM 10-to-1 snow-to-liquid ratio was showing. Now, we do have other things here. Let's take a look here at our probability of freezing rain. And you can see that the probabilities of freezing rain are highest here at the earliest parts of the storm, and then they start to diminish as the storm starts to move on into the northern plains, which is pretty average for these types of storms. Let's take a look here at our dominant precipitation type, which does show us, right, in this IP and ZR, that is our mixed precipitation. Blue is snow, green is rain. And you can see that ice storm effect really is in areas of Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, but does wear off pretty quickly. So overall, we're looking at 6 to 12 inches of snowfall across much of the northern plains. A little bit of an ice storm effect in areas of the northern plains as well. That's kind of in between the rain and the snow regions. Probably not a lot of freezing rain. I'm thinking probably less than 1/10 of an inch, but you never know with freezing rain. Sometimes, a band can set up and you get a lot of freezing rain in one spot. But overall, I think this storm is going to be very significant for the first named storm of the 2022-2023 winter storm season. Now, let's take a look at my predictions for Winter Storm Alejandra. Now, I do not have the ice storm on here just because the uncertainty is a little bit too high, but right now I have in this purple, that's 12 to 24 inches, most likely on that 12 to 18 inch side of that. In this pinkish purple here, there's magenta, that is 6 to 12 inches. Dark blue is 3 to 6, and this light blue is 1 to 3 inches. In the greens here, this is less than an inch of rainfall here in this lighter green, and over an inch of rainfall in this darker green. But that is all I have for Winter Storm Alejandra. A great start to the 2022-2023 winter storm season, but it is not done yet. We have a lot more to cover. It's just the start of winter storm season. I am very excited for winter storm season. It is my favorite time of the year. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you can come along for the ride with me as we go through this winter storm season together. But that is all the information that I have for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.